What's up guys, just Josh here. Welcome to the 4th edition of Albums Ranked. Today we are going to be ranking the discography of Machine fucking Head. So I recently got into this band and I listened to every single one of their albums in a row last night, with the exception of Catharsis, because I was on like California Bleeding and I had already heard that song and it was really bad. And I was getting really tired, so I had to end it. So I almost made it through, man. 9 albums, 9 hours pretty much. Yeah, a lot of music. But I wanted to get this out as soon as I could. And then the next one will come out next month. And next month we will be ranking all of the Stained albums. So that will be pretty good. Look forward to that. But without further ado, let's get into the Machine Head album ranking. At number 9, the worst Machine Head album of all time, in my opinion, is Catharsis. And what can I say about this album? It's really, really bad. In terms of lyrics, this is one of the worst albums I've ever heard lyrically. Instrumentally, it's fine. If I had to base this album off the instrumentals alone, it would easily be in the top 5, maybe even the top 3. But the lyrics are what absolutely kill this album. This is Machine Head's most latest release, released back in 2018. This is their 9th album. And yeah, Phil Demmel, their guitarist, and Dave McClain, their drummer, left after this album. I guess it was because, they didn't like the musical direction. This album tries to harken back to the nu metal / rap metal days of the Burning Red and Supercharger, Machine Head's 3rd and 4th albums consecutively, or respectively, whatever the word is. And yeah, Machine Head have always been comfortable talking about politics, but this album just takes it way too far. From the beginning track Volatile, that you're just in for a political album. The track Volatile reminds me somewhat of the Negative one by Slipknot, and Beyond the Pale is very Slipknot-esque as well. But Grind You Down, just listen to the chorus of that song, 100% ripped off from No Life by Slipknot from the self-titled album. The vocal rhythm and everything is just completely ripped off. It's very, very shameless. And I've also heard something about them ripping off Strapping Young Lad's song Love on this album as well. I don't remember what song. I've never heard the Strapping Young Lad song before, so I don't know what song it was on. But I've heard that was on there as well. Even the non-political songs are just juvenile and immature, such as California Bleeding, which I was talking about earlier, the song that I just couldn't finish the album. I had to finish it today. I almost listened to every Machine Head album in a row, but I just couldn't do it with this album. I had to, just listen to it when I had more time. And yeah, California Bleeding, I'm just going to give you an example of a line from the song. Don't give a fuck if I'm bad. The rodents down at Disneyland. What the fuck are you talking about, Rob? And another horrible song on this album is Bastards. Wow. And the chorus for that song, part of the chorus resurfaces in Grind You Down, and it's repeated in Eulogy as well. We get it, Rob. You don't need to have the same chorus for 3 different songs. It's just insane. The only 3 decent songs on this album are the first 3 songs, Volatile, Catharsis, and Beyond the Pale. And even if the lyrics for some of those songs are absolute shit, you can at least appreciate the instrumental. That's the only good thing about this album. The instrumentals are great, but the lyrics are just fucking nonsensical SJW liberal ramblings. And at number 8, we got Supercharger. Machine Head's 4th album, released in 2001, in my opinion, is the 2nd worst Machine Head album of all time. This album is overall very disappointing, very bland, very boring. It's got way too many slow songs. Now, I don't mind slow songs as long as they build up to something worthwhile and worth, the build up and wait and the anticipation, and it just explodes into this awesome section. Pretty much none of the slow songs on this album do so. Especially Only the Names. It's just a boring song. Very slow, very, melancholic. It just doesn't build up to anything worth listening to. But there are a few decent songs on this album, such as Bulldozer, White Knuckle Blackout, Crashing Around You, and Trephination. But songs like American High, wow, that song gives some of the songs on Catharsis a run for their money. Just overall, very disappointing album. At number 7, we got the Burning Red. This album's not horrible. Machine Head's third album, released in 1999, took more of a nu metal approach as opposed to the groove/thrash metal sound of their first two albums, Burn My Eyes and The More Things Change. Many were put off by this change in direction. Many accused the band of selling out because that's what was popular in the late 90s, the whole nu metal thing, with bands like Korn and Deftones, for example. Personally, I got no problems with nu metal. I don't have many problems with this album as well. Sure, the rapping in songs like Desire to Fire and From This Day might be a bit cringeworthy, but honestly, I'm not too bothered by it. Some good songs on this album are Desire to Fire, The Blood, the Sweat, the Tears, From This Day, Message in a Bottle, and 5. Those are pretty good songs. There might be some other songs that I'm forgetting, but overall, this album is pretty decent. At number 6, we have Machine Head's 8th album, Bloodstone and Diamonds, released in 2014. This album is okay. It's not bad, it's not horrible, but it's not great or outstanding either. It's decent. It's meh. Some good songs on this album are Now We Die, Killers and Kings, Ghost Will Haunt My Bones, Night of Long Knives, Eyes of the Dead, Beneath the Silt, and Take Me Through the Fire is pretty good as well. I don't like songs like Damage Inside. It's pretty boring. And In Comes the Flood, that really overshadows the more political approach that this album's follow-up Catharsis would take, and I already expressed my opinion on that, so I don't need to repeat myself. But overall, this album's okay, but not something that you should check out if you want something completely outstanding. And at number 5, we have Machine Head's second album, The More Things Change, from 1997. This album is pretty good. It's got that great, aggressive, gritty groove/thrash metal sound that I really enjoy from Machine Head. It's got some great songs such as 10-Ton Hammer, Take My Scars, Struck a Nerve, Spine, and Bay of Pigs, and overall, this album is a very entertaining listen. At number 4, we have 2003's Through the Ashes of Empires, Machine Head's 5th album, released after the not-so-successful nu metal albums The Burning Red and Supercharger. This album gets back to the groove/thrash metal roots of the band, and I would say this is a very successful decision. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I was listening to almost all of these albums in a row, and Supercharger, like I said, was really disappointing. So when the thrash broke in with the first song, Imperium, I was full on windmilling. And yeah, that's a great song from this album. Bite the Bullet is another good one. Left Unfinished, In the Presence of My Enemies, Days Turn Blue to Gray, Seasons Wither, and Descend the Shades of Night are all great songs. Overall, this album is very good. It's very enjoyable, and I really like it. At number 3, we have Machine Head's debut album, 1994's Burn My Eyes. This is a very good album, and just like the album that follows it, The More Things Change, this album is very gritty. It's got that great groove/thrash metal sound, and it's got some great songs on it, such as Davidian, Old, 1,000 Lies, None But My Own, The Rage to Overcome, Death Church, Blood for Blood, and Realize is really good too. Just overall, a great album, a very powerful debut, and a great way to kick off Machine Head's career. At number 2, we have Machine Head's 7th album, Unto the Locust, released in 2011. This has to be Machine Head's thrashiest album to date. It's just such an amazing album, and it's even got some classical influences as well in songs like I Am Hell and Who We Are, and it just makes the album very unique as well. There's even some blast beats in the song This Is the End, and it's only 50 minutes. It's Machine Head's shortest album. It has 7 tracks, and it's just a very worthwhile listen. I Am Hell, Be Still and Know, Locust, This Is the End, Darkness Within, just all great songs on this album. And at number 1, the best Machine Head album in my opinion is The Blackening. The band's 6th album from 2007 has it all in my opinion. Crushing brutality, beautiful melody, and masterful musicianship. With 2 10-minute epics and 2 9-minute epics, this 8-track album is just an absolute fucking masterpiece. The only song on this album that I'm not too big of a fan of is Wolves, but even still, that's a great song as well. You got Clenching the Fists of the Descent, Beautiful Mourning, Aesthetics of Hate, Now I Lay Thee Down, Slanderous, Halo, Wolves, and A Farewell to Arms. Really, there is not a bad song on this album, and you should definitely check this album out. And there you have it, guys. That is my ranking of all of the Machine Head albums. If we have any other Machine Head fans watching this video, please let me know what your ranking is down in the comment section below, and next time we will be ranking all of the Stained albums. Until then, guys, peace out.